Hi guys, this is Amanda Moon for ABA 620. I'm just going to talk a little bit about my SAFMEDS graph. My initial goal at the start of the course was to get my responses here in this yellow band. And you can see when I first started, my responses were down here. I was getting correct 7 and incorrect 4. As I started to implement some of my interventions, you can see the acceleration going up here to almost where I wanted my answers to be at about 14, 15 correct, and down here my incorrect dropped to 0. Some of the interventions I did in the beginning was I reviewed my cards about 3 times a day, morning, noon, and in the evening. And I would go through my decks, and if I had any cards that were giving me difficulties, I would set them aside and restudy those. So you can see the steepest acceleration point or line here was when I was just learning how to use some of these interventions. Now this first red line we see, that's my first phase change. That's when I added deck 2. And you can see my responses dipped back down a little bit due to learning new material. Here we see I have incorrect of 2, which eventually goes back down to 0. This second phase change line you see is where I decided to allow myself a full minute for my acquisition deck instead of the 30 seconds I was doing here in the beginning. And you can see after allowing this full minute of timing, my acquisition decks came way up here. I was able to get through the entire deck in less than that allotted minute. And you can see here my maintenance scores were also in the desired range. Down here we see at the beginning of that second deck, I had a few incorrect, and then it flattened back out down here to 0. And then the third phase change line we see is when I added deck 3. And my responses did dip down slightly, but you can see they didn't dip down as much as they did for deck 2. I was able to stay within the desired yellow band of responses. And I did get a few incorrect here at the start of that third deck, but eventually it did flatten back down to 0. So that is kind of a brief summary of my SAFMED cards, and I hope you all have a great day. Thanks.